I think server rebooted. So just wait and we will take remote desktop of the server, right? All right, so hopefully ready in fact. So let me log in. So 10.1.1.60 is server IP address, Active Directory server IP address. So IP address already we know like 10.1.1.60, and the domain name, yes, we know that techlearnify.com. Login credential also we know like administrator and administrator password, all right? But what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a couple of user accounts and one group also, right, on the server. So let me minimize this. So in order to create users, Active Directory users on Windows machine, server machine, open Active Directory users and computers. Active Directory users and computers, right? So users and computers used for user management purpose, Active Directory user management purpose. And if I expand techlearnify.com, so you can see here on the left hand side, there are like built-in containers, like built-in computers, domain controllers, and users, another container here. And then this user container, you will see like the default username like administrator here, right? And if I just show you, let me enable advanced feature so that also we can see some hidden options. And if I go to attribute editor, so here also we can check the distinguished name. So even if you don't know, like you don't remember the format, so and see here the format, the distinguished name. So username is administrator, so represented with common name, but user is in this container, another container, and name of container is what? Users. And then there are two like domain component, and first component is techlearnify, another component is com. So if I just, even we can copy this distinguished name from here, or just right click here. So dc domain component com and then cn is equal to user. So now if like there is another container here, if I let me turn off this advanced feature. So if I create here a container like organizational unit, right? Let's say IT maybe help desk. Okay. And now if I create user account here, help desk 1, help desk 1, and then password. So distinguish name of help desk 1 user, this user. If now I have to write distinguished name for this user, so how distinguished name will be written? So start with common name help desk, I'm sorry, 1. So help desk 1, comma, and then this container name. So first here and then second. And now here we have two options. Again, we can use either CN or maybe OU, organizational unit, and then IT help desk, comma, and then domain component name. So there are two components, techlearnify, another component, com, right? Understood? So that's the way how like distinguished name or DN, login DN is written, right? It's LDAP standard naming convention. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to quickly, maybe in the same container, users container itself, we can create 1 or 2 users for testing purpose, maybe user 1. I'm creating here user 1 because it's a brand new domain controller. So as such, no user account except the default user account. So password never expire. So one user is created here, user one, right? All right, and even I can copy or just I can create another user. So let me create another user, user two, next password, password, use password never expires. All right, there are two users and I'm also going to create one group here, right? So group name, managers, for example, right? Managers. Okay. And now I'm going to put both users in this group. So members, two users, user one, and also user two. So now they both are member of managers group. Apply. Okay, done. Right. Now, another point here is like how to join a computer to the domain controller so that we can also see like single sign-on in fact, right? So I'm going to access another computer remotely, Windows 7 computer, and by default like in workgroup, but I want to change the membership, computer membership from workgroup to the domain. So I want to first join this computer to the domain, like Active Directory domain, and then I'll be using user one account, right, to log in from this machine to the server. So how we can join a Windows computer to the domain controller? So for that, simply, all right, so I'm on Windows 7 computer 10.1.1.61 and gateway is obviously checkpoint firewall. So before joining, let me show you like even if you can just go to computer properties from anywhere, and your Windows computer should not be home edition, right? Because home edition means like cannot be member of domain controller, right? So it's still in the workgroup model, workgroup, member of workgroup, client one. So my objective is to put this machine in the domain. So for that, first step, like just verify IP addressing. And the important point here is DNS server, this IP should be domain controller server machine IP address. Very important, right? You cannot use any other IP here. As I mentioned, domain controller is also DNS server, right? So preferred DNS server should be Active Directory server machine IP, and AD server machine IP is 10.1.1.60. Okay, so hit down OK. Okay, we don't have to do anything. And now I want to change this membership. I want to put this domain in where techlearning5.com, right? Again, username and password like required here, and username password should be your Active Directory username password. So there is no separate account created for this operation. So you can use administrator account of domain controller, right? It's not local machine username and password. So I'm typing here Active Directory server username password, and see here like domain username password. So no separate account other than administrator. You can use administrator, no problem in the lab environment. Joint, and again a reboot is required here. Before restarting, save my open files and close all programs. Okay. So restart and very much like done. Joint, right? So after restart, I'll be back to this machine 10.1.1.61, and then I will show you how we can log in to domain controller, right? Restart. So almost done. Server is ready. So now platform is set, a machine is joined. We created two user accounts for the testing purpose. Now it's time to configure identity awareness. So if already you know like how to promote a machine as a server, how to join a machine to the domain controller, so your like interesting topic starts now, identity awareness, right? So especially if you want to see identity awareness configuration, then now focus like see here how I'm going to configure. First step, select the gateway, security gateway, edit, enable identity awareness software blade, enable automatically. This is screen. So I don't have any plan to use terminal server, because for that, in order to use terminal server option, terminal server agent software need to be installed on client machine. So I'm going to show you these two options only, AD query and browser based authentication. So hit down next. Already we have like not connected yet. Okay, so cancel this. I'm sorry. So first, like from where we are going to start with. First, directly we are not going to uh, enable identity awareness. First, I want to show you LDAP integration. So first step, LDAP integration, and then configuring identity awareness. LDAP integration, two steps. Step number one, create host object. Host object. So network object, host object, right click, new host, and host object to map AD server, Active Directory server. AD server, and AD server IP is 10.1.1.60, right? So 10.1.1.60. So first step, very simple, just name and IP address. Step number two, create LDAP account unit. Do you want to save the changes? Yes, no problem. Even if like the same IP is in use somewhere, no problem with that, right? So what next? Create LDAP account unit, right? So maybe you can go from here also, user and identities, and see here LDAP account unit, LDAP account unit, right? So name it LDAP account unit, any name, and color, let me choose blue color, and select Microsoft Active Directory here, right? Comment, not mandatory field. So important option to select here is Microsoft AD, and then domain name techlearnify.com. Okay, so name here techlearnify.com. Servers, add, and on this page we are going to add a AD server object here, right? So object we created, port number 389, username administrator, login DN, like the distinguished name. So username, again administrator, comma, CN, common name, users, comma, CN is equal to tech learnify, comma, DC is equal to com, right? And then password, administrator password of Active Directory server machine. Good, good so far. So Active Directory server object, port number standard, we are not using secure LDAP, username, and this login DN, distinguished name. So I hope you understand, like distinguished name, and Active Directory password. Check all the information on this page, very very important. Head on OK, go to object management, and click here fetch branches, and if successfully the domain name like is listed here, means connectivity is good, right? So it's a very quick verification even. Click here fetch branches, and see here automatically techlearnify.com. So everything is in good shape. Hit down OK. Done. First part completed. So far we have done completed two steps. Step number one, host object. Step number two, LDAP account unit. And LDAP integration done, successfully done, right? What next now? Identity awareness. So edit security gateway object. And now I want to enable identity awareness. Select both options. AD query for like those computers who are part of domain, join to the domain, and user is already logged on to the domain controller, right? For that, in browser based authentication means captive portal, means capturing username or like acquiring identity like by using captive portal page, right? So select both, and already here like select an active directory, so already selected, but yes, like check this connectivity, whether connectivity is like up to the mark or not. So connecting to 10.1.1.60 and should be successful because already we have verified and yes, successfully connected. Hit down next and see here like a sample security rule is shown here that if you want to create like this browser based authentication settings, so create access rule below means either user or group, destination, service, and then action. First enable accept and then display captive portal. And if users want to authenticate first to like the portal by using this captive portal, so URL is here, https colon internal interface IP slash connect. So as I mentioned, like there are two ways. Like first, user can wait to be redirected automatically to the captive portal, or maybe just opening this captive portal page manually. And even if we want to customize that through all interfaces or only through internal interfaces, right? So we can change the option. Hit down next and finish. And again, if we want to do some customization, so we can do that very easily. Like if browser-based authentication settings, and here like we have a lot of options here, and I'm going to show you like different options on this page, but without any customization, let's just create one security policy so that we can check like whether identity awareness is working properly or not. So what I'm going to do here in rule number 6, instead of like using this network object, I'm going to create access role, right? And what I'm going to select here, managers. All managers means like users like who are member of managers group. So what I want to select any network even I can specify that strictly managers means like they should be uh, like accessing like the allowed application from this network only, and users and groups. So I'm going to select a specific users and groups and plus, and look at the option here automatically just after clicking plus. Tech Learnify is by default selected here, right? Even like there are some other options also, LDAP groups and all that. And here I can see like uh, different containers, right? If you want to use power of search, you can search here, managers group, select it. Before selecting users from domain, Techlearnify the account unit that represents this domain has to be published. Okay, so first like we'll have to publish and install, and then means like this step need to be done in two parts in fact, right? So let's do policy installation, but policy installation will be failed because I have selected none here. So publishing successfully done. So let's try one more time. Access role, publishing is done, and I say like managers, a specific network is inside LAN, and the users. So I want to specify group here, managers, even like a specific user can also be selected, group or maybe container, machine, any machine, no problem. Remote access client is okay. All right, so hit down OK. Hopefully no error. Yes. So managers, untrusted, HTTP, HTTPS, and then next setting is here. More, and then enable identity captive portal. Head down OK. So one rule is created here. What about telnet, SSH, and echo request? So I want to select here this time any user, right? So if I click here access role, let me see here. So maybe any user, AD user, or all AD users, right? So all AD users, no specific, any user, and okay. All right. So AD users if like they are member of Active Directory. Now install policy, warning message about license expiry on 26th of August, no problem, and wait, let this policy be installed properly. In the meantime, let me access this Windows machine, client machine, and all policy push now. This machine 61, so I want to take remote desktop of this computer so that we can log into domain controller with any user like either user 1 or user 2, right? And then we'll try to access any HTTP or HTTPS based application allowed for like managers group, and user 1 is member of managers group, so definitely should be allowed. So I'm going to access this computer 10.1.1.61. 61. So now 61 is username here. I'm going to log in with user 1 at the rate, because 61 is like part of domain now, right? So techlearning5.com and then password. Okay, so to log on to this remote computer, you must be granted the allow log on through terminal services, right? By default, members of remote desktop users group have this right. If you are not a member of this group, so you cannot do all this, right? So, in fact, the users need to be member of terminal service group, right? So let me cancel this and minimize. All right, so from VM itself, I'm going to log in, but you understand like a user by default is not allowed to take RDP of computer. Either like user should be in administrator group or maybe remote desktop users group. That is why we just saw the error message and control alt del, but no problem. Switch user, other user, so again, I'm going to log in, like I'm using now like VM orchestration and username, not remote session, and password. And in the domain, take learning 5, right? So type here user1 at the rate take learning5.com and then password. So I'm logging with user1 account, and also let me show you like CLI of let me take CLI of gateway. So 10.1.101 and SG1 open. Let me adjust the screen, minimize this. Okay. So admin and the password. I need to get into expert mode in the bash shell. All right. So I'm like in expert mode. Clear. You can run. And now if I run the command pdp monitor all, let me put apply filter here, more, and then see here uh, pdp monitor all, and I can see the AD server IP address, and the name of Active Directory server is server1 techlearning5.com, right? AD query is like the client type, and also like distinguished name of domain controller, so automatically like selected here. And is there any user authenticated on domain controller? Yes. So gateway has information about which user, user one, right? And member of AD group managers. So already gateway knows about user one. Who is on 10.1.1.61? User one. User one is in managers group. Means like no browser based authentication, no captive portal. So now I can access HTTP or HTTPS based application from this computer, right? Without captive portal, without redirect. Why? Because already gateway knows about 10.1.1.61. That is why. And you can see here like the next connect time and other stuff. So let me go back to the same computer here. And if you look at the option here, so user is user one, right? So let me try opening any website. It's an old Internet Explorer. So cancel this, and just I'm going to open any site just for the testing purpose here, example.com maybe, and see here it's working, right? Example.com. Now can we see that in log message user one? So logs and monitors, right? We want to see the log because as we discussed in the theory class, the benefit of identity awareness is not only creating rules based on users and groups, right, but also for logging, reporting purpose, forensic purpose, right? So I'm interested in last hour logs, not 24-hour. So let me apply filter here. Still is searching, so taking time here. So maybe too many logs here, but I'm not interested in all log messages. Even we can apply filter also here, and the filter I want to put here filter based on source address. So source IP 10.1.1.61, right? 61. So I'm interested only in seeing this log, and if I check any log message, maybe this one. So see here like the username, you can see username plus IP address, both username and IP address, and the computer name client one, right? Member of techlearnify.1. Client one is the computer name, username, and IP address. So we have now complete information in the log, right? IP, username, and computer name. So not only like creating security rule based on users and group, also for logging purpose, reporting, monitoring purpose, right? And now if let me go back to what you call it CLI, and what I want to do, I want to revoke this IP address from here. Session is still active, but intensely, forcefully, I want to do that. Control revoke IP, which IP 10.1.1.61, right? So revoke command was sent to server, and again, if I see here, so no information now. Gateway doesn't have any information about 10.1.1.61. Now, if again I go back to the computer and if I try to open any site, example.com, not from cache, right? So see here, like automatically redirected to captive portal. Why? Because like no information about this computer 10.1.1.61. Intensely, we revoke the IP address. So if I click here, continue to this website, it's a captive portal and can be customized, right? And username, let's say this time I want to put user 2. So again, username and password will be checked against like in the AD database, right? Whether both username and password correct or not. So log in here and now see here example.com is working properly, right? And even intensely also, if I take on the computer, maybe this machine. So even intensely, if you want to open like this portal, so you can open, not part of AD work group, right? So 10.1.101, and you don't want to wait like for redirection to happen. So simply you want to connect first to the captive portal, right? So head down, enter, and it's a page, captive portal page, username, this time user1, password, access granted, right? What now this user one can do, like obviously HTTP, HTTPS, Telnet, and other like applications can be opened now. So once authenticated, then the user can access allowed applications or services. Now you can see like user one is also able to like use different applications, right? So I hope you understand how to create access role, and even we can check again like from CLI about like mapping. And now you can see here there is another computer 10.1.1.50, even 10.1.1.50 is in work group, right? Not member of Active Directory server, but by using captive portal. And see here client type is what? Portal, right? Not AD query, portal, browser based authentication. And what about customization? If you want to customize like portal, yes, you can do that. And even if I just head down refresh here one more time, then you will see like username, this time user2, right? On machine where 10.1.1.61 client machine user2, and see here user2, okay? So for logging purpose also like it's very useful, because now we know the username. So if the same computer is used by different users, maybe in different rotational shift, right, different timing, same computer is used, or maybe DHCP assigned IP address. So uh, like user based login is the best way like to track down the user activities, right? Not only the IP address. And how to do customization of portal. So again, go to gateway properties and select identity awareness, right? Browser based authentication settings. And here we can do a lot here. Portal customization, even we can use company logo here from this size. All right, so I attach a different logo here. Even for mobile, there can be different logo. And not only the logo, in fact, user access, name and password login. Yes. So, and how long like access will be granted for, let's say you want to give access for only 120 minutes. So yes, that is possible. You can also ask for user agreement. You can type here the license agreement, right? And in license agreement you can type here like the condition, okay, access is only for office work, anything like whatever you want to type. So you can type here properly. And adjust portal setting for a specific user. Also we can force user to download agent software, right? Agent software, identity agent software. Also if you want to like also allow like unregistered guest login, however not of any use, but because there is no way to check the like information shared by the guest user, in fact. So but if you want, then yes, you can do that also. You can ask like guest user means like users who are not like whose accounts not created on AD server, guest user account. So you can also grant them access for 60 minutes maybe. Ask for user agreement. You can customize this agreement. Let's say Nettech internet access agreement, whatever agreement you want to like customize. And even like there are 4 fields here like company name, email address, phone number. Let's say you want to like add some more field here. So you can do that as well. Like for example, here, let's say I want to add another field, designation, and designation should also be mandatory. So this way, even we can do further customization for unregistered guest login and log out users when they close the portal browser. If you want that, like browser should be open throughout, like the internet uses, right? So you can enable the moment the browser is closed, then no access. So you can select this option also. Hit down OK, and what changes we are going to see. So just wait, I'm going to show you. First, like we will get the option like I do not have username and password, right, for the guest login. And then agreement policy, 5 mandatory fields: name, telephone number, password. But as per, there is no way to verify those details, like whether username, password correct or not, because from where like we would match that, right? Because guest user means like any fake username, any password, right? Any telephone number. So you understand, like guest or a known user is something uh, like no way of like doing verification. So let me quickly go back to any computer behind the security gateway, maybe the machine like with the IP 10.1.1.50, right here, and close. And again, I'm going to open Chrome browser, and manually I want to open the portal page, right, slash connect, and see here logo changed, right? And also here I don't have a username and password option. So even if I click here, I don't have username and password. Then mandatory fields here, name. So but I can put any name here, let's say any email address, test.local, TEST, phone number, right? IT or security engineer. All right, and then login. And then terms and conditions. So read out the terms and conditions. Nettech Internet Access Agreement. After reading the agreement, head down. I have read and agree to the terms and conditions. Head down next and granted. Now I can access like allowed applications. Unregistered users, guest users, right? So a lot of customization can be possible on identity awareness software blade. So obviously Cisco.com cannot be open, I believe, because we have not allowed any user, I believe, from the AD only, managers group only. Yes, that is why. So even after successful authentication, not able to open a website page. Why? Because if you look at the rule number 6, so rule number 6 is what? Only users from this managers group created on active directory servers should be able to open HTTPS. All other like users, maybe telnet, SSH, or echo request, right? So I hope you understand. And server installation, again, like if you want to build a lab in your environment, home lab, so no problem. Like even I use just VM orchestration. So here is the server, Windows Server 2019, right? So just click here if you want to install Windows Server. So and if I show you the interface mode, so I'm just using bridge mode everywhere, right? So bridge mode everywhere, bridge mode only, right? No like confusion, no NAT host 1, host 8, nothing. Bridge mode everywhere, SD, SMS everywhere. And installing Windows Server is very straightforward. So I hope you can do that at your own for your home lab practice. Just click your file, new virtual machine, right? Typical, and select here. I will install operating system later. Don't specify ISO image here right now, right? Will get create problem then, licensing issue or something. And then Microsoft Windows Server 2019. Next, just the image name. 60 GB enough. If you want to customize hardware, then just customize, and mainly this network adapter. Change from NAT to breeze mode. Memory 2 gig, good enough. Hit on finish. A virtual machine is created. Once virtual machine is created, then just edit, go to settings, and now CD drive, and here locate, like specify the path where you have downloaded and saved your ISO image, Windows Server image, right? This time, and then just power on the device. Installation will start. So already here is the path, right? I have like ISO image downloaded to this location, see data, okay, and then power on. So in case if you want to install, so that's the way, and then hit down enter and enter. Installation will start, right? So installing Windows Server in virtual machine, very simple. Evaluation version can be easily downloaded from Microsoft portal. And on the next screen, let me show you another important option. Don't select core edition. Core is something like, so here like select next, install now. And also I'm going to show you how to configure any machine as what? Web server, right? So here on this better like select this desktop experience, right? Just select this Windows Server 2019 standard evaluation desktop experience. Hit down next. So you will have a lot of like GUI, like all the features, and then custom install Windows only advanced, no upgrade, and then head down next. Done, right? Will take 10 to 15 minutes and your server will be ready now. And then you know like what to do next. Then after installation, installing Active Directory, now you understand. First like installing role, and then promoting server as a domain controller. And if you want to configure any machine, either Windows 7, Windows 10, Windows 2019 server as a web server, right? If you remember, so I discussed in NAT section, right? Then I said that I will show you how to configure any machine as a web server for the lab demonstration purpose, IIS. So very easily you can do that, and let me go to any machine, maybe the same machine, like the machine that I configured as a domain controller. Server manager already open. Yes, open server manager, add a role, and this time IIS role, right? So add a role from here, and web server IIS Internet Information Service role. Okay, hit now next, next. So if you want to do like destination NAT lab in your environment, like for home lab, so just take any Windows computer machine, either Windows 7, 10 or 2019, install IIS role, right? In like Windows 7 and other platforms, like you'll find this option like adding role or features from control panel. So you can open control panel, there you'll find option like add rules or features, I believe. So just click there like add new feature and add this role IIS. Simple, done. Your test web server ready just after doing this. If you want to do customization, you want to put your own website files, that can also be done, right? That can also be done, but it's very simple. A default page even you see here. So let me quickly take you to C drive of this computer. So there we'll find a folder with the name triple W root, right? My PC and C drive. In it perf, a folder is automatically created. Triple W root is created, and here see like the file, even the PNG file. So once like it's ready, and even in the meantime, it's almost done, you can open this paintbrush file, open with, and the paintbrush, yes. So this is the default page where it is loading up. This is the default page, right? So without any change, you will see this file in your browser. You want to change, then yes, you can just select, delete everything from here. If you want to write down here any name, so that is possible. So this way, the default page will be changed also. Or simply if you have website files, and you can find a lot of sample website files from like Google, so just Google it, sample website files. So you'll find a lot of images, index.html file. So just copy all the files from there and paste to this location only. Where? Here. Paste all the website files here. Done. Your server is ready, right? So simple website, very, very easy. So let's say this is my DMG web server. Now let's say I want to just put an IP address, any IP address, hit down enter, done. Your web server is ready. Installation succeeded, right? So I can open file on the same machine. So this way, like you can do your lab practice. So just take any computer, add role or feature IIS, and if you want a proper website, then copy like sample websites from internet, just Google it and put that those files in the same location like www root. That's it. Or just edit default file, and if I just put here localhost or maybe the same IP 10.1.1.60, so if IIS is working properly, so I will see this one, right? So this way you can do your lab practice. So if you remember, then in that lab section, in fact, I said that I will show you how to configure a Windows machine as a web server. So now I hope you know everything now, right? So you can do lab practice of identity awareness, LDAP integration, NAT, destination NAT. Very easy to set up lab in virtualized environment in the home lab. Simply you need a desktop, laptop with maybe 16 gig of RAM recommended. Simple, right? And most of the images are free. Evaluation version is free at least. So Checkpoint Gateway, Checkpoint Management Server, you can download from Checkpoint official site, right? For 15 days. Again after expiry, just install gateway and uh, SMS Gaia OS again, no problem whatsoever. So now we are very much have reached to end of the session, and identity awareness and LDAP integration, and now I believe you understand the concept very well, right? And even this LDAP integration can be used separately also, not like in conjunction with identity awareness. For example, if you want to use like Active Directory database for remote access username password authentication, yes, you can use that. In case if you want to create user accounts locally, you don't have AD server in your environment. Let's say you are configuring remote access VPN, right? They are dialing from like remote locations to the security gateway for connectivity, either SSL or IPsec VPN, right? You don't have use AD server in your environment, so yes, you can create user accounts locally on the security gateway also. That is also possible. So not necessarily there has to be Active Directory server, but in real scenarios, definitely you will find Active Directory server, and not only Active Directory server. Nowadays, even like very much organizations are using Azure AD. Azure AD, like again on Azure, like there are two options. Either we can use Azure AD, or maybe we can spin up Windows machine in the cloud in a similar way, 2019 machine, AD role, and then promoting as a server. But even in case if we don't want this LDAP based Active Directory server, we have Azure Active Directory, very different than this AD server, right? Because it's LDAP based, and this is not LDAP based in fact, and Azure AD has very limited features, limited options. So even nowadays we can also integrate like gateways with Azure Active Directory also. So in case if you have hosted application here in your DMG and users are accessing application hosted in the DMG, but for authentication purpose you want to use Azure Active Directory, Azure AD. You want like SAML based authentication or some advanced authentication technique. Yes, that is also possible, at least in R80.10. We can do that also. However, that is out of scope, so I don't want to discuss that. I'm not going to show you that. But maybe in the cloud, maybe some advanced training session, uh, I will show you practically also how we can do integration with cloud and using these like advanced authentication protocol, Okta, SAML, and some other OAuth, right? Anyway, so identity awareness, I believe you understand. LDAP integration, you understand. You also understand LDAP integration has nothing to do only with the identity awareness. These two are two separate features, right? They both can be used independently. Even identity awareness we can use with the local user database. LDAP integration we can use without identity awareness. Maybe LDAP integration we can use with the legacy authentication method. Still, they have not been removed, I believe. So if I go to this rule section, maybe this one or any other, and if I click here more, so I'll be able to see like some legacy methods. Yes, at least I can see here user auth and client authentication. So they both are what legacy authentication method. Like for user and client authentication, identity awareness software blade not required, right? But LDAP account unit, yes, required if we want to use AD database, right? So that's all about identity awareness and LDAP integration.